Hi everybody, it's Kathy from Huckleberry Herbs and Art, and today's video is actually starting in my plant window where I have just a couple of days ago, I know it's hard to see because of the backlighting, but this is well, known to me as a wandering Jew. It's a purplish plant with green and purple stripes, and I'll try to get the light so that you might be able to see the plant a little, but this is what I'm focusing on in this jar with water that I have hanging here. There's roots. So in the winter, when there's less gardening to do, I sometimes try to get things rooted in water, and I hang them here in my window. I have an empty jar there and a couple more. They're very pretty. So what I'm going to do is start filling up some of my jars like this one with a couple of different plants that I'm hoping to get rooted. And I'm also going to plant an amaryllis that's way too late, just like the paper whites, and change things up to get things ready for some more serious gardening, because we're in February. As you can see, February 2016 in the Northeast. Icicles and snow. The first thing that I'm going to do today is plant this amaryllis, which is called Apple Blossom. And a friend gave this to me because she had not been able to plant it in time for Christmas. It's usually something you get a few weeks before Christmas, and then it's blooming at Christmas time. She gave it to me right on Christmas, and asked if I would like to take it. Now it's February, okay, so it's very late, but I thought I would go right from the unboxing with you. And once again, it's a matter of, there's a bulb in here that cost money, and I'll show you the inside of the bulb. So that's what should happen. 4 to 6 weeks it should look like this, 6 to 8 weeks like that, and then 8 to 12 weeks it should have beautiful pink flowers on it. Now I know it's late and it may not work, but I'm going to put it in the dirt anyway because it's a bulb that costs money. It's a beautiful flower. You can actually keep them from year to year if you put them away and let them rest over the summer. Dark, dry places, you can use them year to year. I don't know that this one will be able to do that, but I figured I would share this with you, and let's see what condition the bulb is in. Okay, so I still see green, and I see the desire to grow right there, and I know the roots look a little ragged, but it's probably very thirsty and tired of being in that box. Now this one actually comes with a peat mold. Is that what they call this? Coir fiber. I'm not going to wait for that, and I'll take the pot and that and put it to the side, because I actually already have a larger pot, because I know I've planted amaryllis in the past. They get very top heavy, and this pot's not going to save it, but it has a little bit more width on the bottom to help it maintain itself and not tip over. And it's really so simple to plant one of these. You do not cover them. Let me put my gloves on here. You do not cover them fully with soil. You put them in about halfway. So I'll add a little more dirt to this. Again, I want there to be some stability, and I'll bring my pot over here and just throw a little more dirt in. And that's about it. There's the complicated task. You leave the bulb showing, and it is down there pretty low, but like I said, these things get very top heavy. So I'm going to put that to the side, call it done, give it some water, put it into the plant light, and we'll hopefully have a lovely pink amaryllis flower to show you late, but in 12 weeks. The next thing I'm going to do, and I've already poured the water out, is remove my Wandering Jew You don't want to leave them in the water for too long because they will rot and they'll get used to growing in water instead of in dirt, and that's kind of a tragedy for the plant. So this one's growing a little sideways. I'm gonna help them to get into the dirt down to where the root growth is and leave them hanging over the side. So I'm putting them in this little square container, and I won't leave for too long the plant in here, or the plants, because it is a trailing plant, so it will need to be hung at some point. It grows fairly quickly, and it's lovely because it has that pretty purple and green stripe going for it. And I could have just added this to the plant that I already have going, but I decided I'll just get another one started. This guy's a little bit too long, so I'm going to lay him slightly sideways. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm going a little sideways with him because he's too long. Might need to put a little more dirt in this, but at the moment he'll stand up. And the last one probably will need to go a little sideways as well. I'll put it starting on this corner so that we have a little bit of the plant on all edges. Here we go, to be sure that I have all the roots covered. So it looks a little wonky right now, but that's okay. Once this gets going, I can also come back and put another one in the middle. The next thing I have to take care of is that geranium that I got a few weeks ago. As I had feared, it was growing very tall and lanky and was actually up touching the lights in the light rack. And I'll show you all of this in the light rack when I'm done. I can't even show how long it has grown. I'm going to look like I'm taking, you know, the whole plant away, but essentially it's healthy for the plant, plus I can propagate a whole bunch of other plants. And I'm going to cut right here above this growth so that it will come back out. Wow, there it is. Look at that whole branch I just cut off. Now you don't want to cut off enormous amounts of the plant so that it has no chance of getting what it needs from the light. And we're going to leave lots of nice big leaves, as well as these nice new little ones that have little growth, so that this plant can have a chance of going on and being a very nice bushy plant. And we do want it to flower more, so if I do this, I take the stress off of the plant, and I'm going to get a whole bunch of other plants from it, I hope. And I'll get more flowers from the plant as well. So again, I'm going right above that little growth spot there. Hopefully everybody can see. A clean snip, and that's it. It's almost like a brand new plant. I can put him back in the light rack, and hopefully I'll see some flowers starting to grow in a couple of weeks. And I'm going to work with these two guys here to do the old-fashioned way of propagating. I'm going right down here underneath one of the growing spots. We see there's leaves coming out of here. There's a big long stem here, and I'm going to give a nice clean. Look, I didn't even need to cut it. It broke off naturally right at the spot. And then I'm going to take off. I have to cut. I'm going to cut right there. Sorry about that. And I'm going to take this one off, cut right there. I'm going to take off the long, actually I'm thinking a good cutting would be right here. This is where I'm going to go. And then I'll take off this leaf, and that will be, well, I don't really want, okay. I'm going to cut right there. Alright, there we go. That is one cutting that I will put into the water, and I will clean this up with my fingers. If you leave leaves, and these are leaf-like, if you leave leaves in the water, or even if you plant them underneath the soil, they will rot. So no sense in doing so. Now this looks like a lovely spot right here, as I can just give one more clean cut there and snip off this growth. And take it down to right there. That wasn't a clean cut, that's not good. Okay, and then I'm going to take off this big leaf, and let me see if I can, not really popping, and this big leaf, until I get this. Okay, so there's a second one that I can plant in the water. So I'm going for this section, the top, and I'm going to snip right below the growth area again. Nice clean snip. I'm going to take off this big long leaf, and I'm going to take off this long leaf. I'm going to clean this up, make sure there's no soft leaves, and be careful when you do this, because you'll when you pull the leaves down, you'll tear, and that won't be good. So I'm going to place them in my jar, and I can fit to right about there. I'm going to put one cutting in there. Now I'm going to come back and put water in it afterwards, but for right now, and I'll put one cutting in here, and I'll put one cutting in here. And we'll just see how it goes. It may be a complete failure, or it may work out really well. For right now, I have one more thing that I want to try to do, and this is my rosemary. I actually went out into the snow. Rosemary is a tender perennial herb. It's extremely fragrant, and it's great with, well, a lot of people use it with poultry. So it's one of the herbs that you will find in that turkey stuffing mix. I forget the name of it, but you can smell sage, and there's usually a little rosemary. And I dry this, and what I'm doing is I'm tearing off the leaves. That sound was ice falling. Okay, I'm going to tear off the leaves. Now, again, I went out into the snow to get this, because we have had up until now a fairly mild winter, and the soft perennial, tender perennial, it can't handle a hard freeze. So a lot of times if I leave my rosemary out, I lose it, and I have to start with new plants. This one may survive because of the gentle winter, but now it's in the snow, and now it's really cold and acting like February out there. So I figured, seeing as it lasted this long, because I didn't have time earlier, I'll give it a shot. But these are a little bit too woody. Alright, so you don't necessarily want woody, you want soft, tender green. But I'll give it a try. Why not? I'll put it in the water, and again, you could use hormone, or I've seen people use honey to make sure that there's no rot and promote root growth. This one feels a little bit too woody. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe in the water. And this will take longer to establish roots than did the, or will the geranium, from what I understand. I have not started rosemary in water before. I can tell you it can be a fairly tough plant to start from seed. I've done that. Lavender as well sometimes can be a hard one, and I do want to use the plants that I have and propagate as much as I can and save the money, and use your plants to extend your garden without having to spend more, especially if you, like I, often go to the trouble, not that I think this particular rosemary is. I think this one was originally bought at like Home Depot or something. I try to get non-GMO, non-genetically modified seeds and plants whenever I can. I really do not like the idea of having Mother Nature tampered with to the extent that these large companies and organizations are, and I am trying to do my part in saving the old traditional genetics, because the farmers are often being forced to buy products that are genetically modified for numbers of reasons. I won't go into it here. So I'm just tearing off pieces, and we're just gonna, seeing as the chances are less because of the time of the year, because of the woodiness, I'm going to put as many as I can without, you don't want to fill the jar to the top or compact it with all of the little plants, because the roots will tangle and then you won't be able to really properly care for them. I'm going to take a little more off of this. It's actually better to have just a little bit of green, because the plant has to tend to the green that you leave. So, it's the leaves that you leave, get it? I can't help myself. Okay, so yeah, it has to put all the energy into the leaf when it really needs to be putting energy into the roots. So I'm going to put these in jars or some kind of hanging, watering, supplying thing. And I really can't do anything with this large stalk because it's wood, but it's not going to waste. I will hang it upside down and I will dry it, and then I will take the leaves for cooking. See, right in the middle of the winter, something fresh from the garden, and no pesticides. Don't have to worry about it because I've been growing it for almost a year without anything else on it except what Mother Nature supplies it. Okay, so I'll get all this set up and show you the end result. Okay, so here are my geraniums hanging in the window. See if I can get a better shot for you. It's a little hard with the backlighting, but there they are. There's the rosemary, or some of it. And again, these little glass jars are very cute with their wires and beads on them and stuff. There's another hanging one. And I'll bring you down to take a look at something wonderful going on right now. My orchids are flowering. And I actually think I'll bring this one up to the craft room so I have something pretty to look at. But my other orchids are getting ready to pop over and open some blossoms. I think that one is pink, and there's some more blossoms on that one. So just lovely to see the plant window with all the goodies. And I'll take you over now to take a quick peek into the light rack, which I have actually decided to lower the top light. So I've taken the cyclamen to the dining room so that it can brighten up the dining room, because it's time to start getting pretty serious about what I'll be planting for the spring. Again, we're in mid-February, and I'll pop in a little video that I've put together of these guys as they were just putting their heads up. But there's the basil that we planted a few weeks ago. And we do have, if I can get close enough, one casualty. See that? When I did that video, I was discussing the fact that there's a fungus that gets right at the dirt and they pop open, they're all happy, and then boom, tip over. So there is some of that fungus in that particular square, that little pot. At any rate, these guys are going to get, because they're sort of resting right now. They've done their baby brand new born leaves, and they'll take a bit of a break. I've actually lowered the light because it should be even a little closer than it is right now, but I have the geranium there that I just took snippets from, and that will keep them from bending. And on days when I've forgotten to put the light on early enough, they actually headed for the window. Give me the sun. Down below, the paperwhites that we planted a few weeks ago. They didn't really flower well. Maybe they still will. I've seen at least one flower come out. The tropical plant of poinsettia is doing fine under the lights and the heat, and this is right next to a radiator, so it does stay very warm here. There's the garlic that we planted as well. There's the Wandering Jew, which Zebrina pendula, I think, is the botanical name for that. We'll leave that in there for a little while. And there's the amaryllis that's very happy to be in some dirt and have some water and get some light, and we'll keep an eye on that. Maybe I'll come back and do little quick catch-up videos as it starts to grow that I can pop in next time. So that's it for today. You can get quite a bit of gardening done inside, even in the Northeast in wintry places, and it's good to touch and be with the green. Very healthy. Hope you enjoyed, everybody. Till next time, this is Kathy from Huckleberry Herbs and Art. God bless.